Thoth. There is much lore surrounding this entity that contradicts itself, leading to conclusions that don't seem to be based in objectivity. Depending on what tradition or what viewpoint you're coming from, Thoth is going to have a very different narrative. But that's not the only confusing thing concerning this deity, because his name also has many contentions. Depending on who you ask, it's pronounced Thoth, Thoth, Tot, Tot, among many more. Yet this is all variations of the Greek word for the Egyptian god. I'm not talking about Hermes, I'm talking about how when they were researching Egypt, they were the ones who gave the Egyptian god this name. If we truly want to go back to the roots of this entity, utilizing his name in the Egyptian language, then his name is Tehuti, which is also written slightly different, starting with a D and pronounced slightly different, but all in all, Tehuti does just fine. Which is funny because all the different variations people like to say the word Thoth actually isn't even his original Egyptian name. The name is related to the words moon, measure, ibis, and crystal, and in ancient Egyptian, he is thought of as the god of knowledge. And with many names also comes many appearances. The most common is a humanoid with an ibis head. In his more magical aspect, though, he manifests as a baboon, though Thoth can appear however he wishes and could be anyone or anything. And as well as many names and many appearances, Thoth also has many titles, such as the Lord of Divine Words, the Lord of Books, and the God of Magic and Wisdom. Though just in Egypt alone, there are so many different myths and views of Thoth, they can get kind of confusing and often contradictory. In one account, Thoth is primeval and existed before the creation of the material universe. And in this version, he actually helped speak the plane into existence. And at the beginning of time, in a vast astral form, assisted in turning light into matter while in the sign of the Enterer. In similar versions, Thoth is the supreme creator overall and spoke himself into existence by vibrating his own name. And that's just a couple Egyptian-themed myths because they had a lot of viewpoints that they enjoyed to look at this deity in. But despite all the differences, creativity and intelligence go hand in hand with this entity. Even in myths where Thoth is not the creator, he still does the majority of creating among the Neturu, the Egyptian pantheon. He created all academic arts, as well as botany, writing, magic, among a plethora of other subjects. I really could go on for a long time concerning all the things credited to him, but for the sake of expediency, let's just say he is the god of knowledge, wisdom, and the moon. Tehuti is credited with writing much of the Egyptian Book of the Dead too, as well as esoteric books that are currently hidden away from humanity, too dangerous if they fall into the wrong hands. Despite his massive importance and incredible reverence that all had for him, Tehuti really isn't in the spotlight like other gods like Anubis, Horus, Isis, or any of the other greats. His true power is always veiled. In truth, Thoth is Ra's right-hand man. Much would not exist if it were not for Thoth, including Ra's children. He taught Osiris civilization to teach humanity and taught Isis everything she knew about magic. And this is because Thoth is the master magician, and also has a hand in all things concerning the gods from behind the scenes. He's essentially the master tactician, strategist, and the one with true power pulling the strings of everybody else, though in a benevolent manner. The goddess of balance, justice, and truth is his wife, and her name is Ma'at, though in other accounts he's also married to the goddess Sechet and the goddess Nehemetawi. Ma'at gives the feather to which the heart of mortals is weighed against in the underworld, while Thoth scribes the life and outcome of the deceased. Ma'at and Tahuti had 8 children together, with the most famous and influential being Amun, later Amun-Ra. But unlike most gods of Egypt or ancient gods in general, Thoth does not possess a dualistic nature, which makes him extremely unique. You'll never find stories of Thoth losing his temper, committing acts of revenge, or any deeds in general that could be seen as negative. Tahuti is universally wise, patient, kind, benevolent, cool-headed, and a complete mastermind. However, that does not mean that he avoids conflict or will not stand up to wrongness, though it is always done with such tact, wisdom, intelligence, and strategy that it's hard to see that he did anything at all. When Set killed Osiris, Thoth helped Isis in her mission. He helped her to resurrect Osiris and assisted Anubis with the first act of mummification, with Osiris the Redeemer being the very first god or mortal to be mummified. The mansion of Thoth is his home in the afterlife, and souls on a journey there can find safe passage with him in sanctuary within his mansion's walls. He will gladly give them magic spells to protect them from demons and help them on their journey through the afterlife, as well as assist those on the astral planes in the same manner. In the Egyptian tradition, like many gods, Thoth can exist in multiple realms at the same time. He's not confined to the laws of space-time like ordinary humans are. He is at Ra's right hand as he soars through the universe on his sky chariot, while also being in the halls of the dead, on the astral plane, as well as walking among mortals to this day. The god of wisdom and knowledge can exist in multiple ways all at the same time. And Thoth actually guards and watches over certain types of people, whether they know it or not. He watches over librarians, alchemists, witches, sorcerers, shamans, magicians, writers, secretaries, mathematicians, scribes, philosophers, and is the patron god of occultists. All these people have the easiest access to Thoth, and he takes pride in watching their lives play out. Keep your eyes out for the next episode on Thoth, where we will look into the legends and myths that surround him outside of Egypt.